but it's really a fun time for me because I know it's a fun time for the players because they worked hard to get stronger and adjust to a different level of baseball. We're hoping that we continue to have this same desire to get better every day. We like the ball club. It's one that has a chance to really progress because we've got some good athletes on this club. I'm very proud of what I've seen in the leadership of guys like John Sansone and Mike Compton, just to name a couple. We're approaching a very difficult schedule. It starts not only with Rhode Island, but I mean the College of Charleston is a heck of a baseball team. We saw them in regional and thought they were as good as anybody that we played. And then certainly after them is St. John's, a team that was in a regional tournament last year. So all of this before Georgia Tech, which opens the ACC schedule.
You said last year the team reminded you of one of the teams from the 80s, I think. So what does this team really remind you of, just looking back, and just what do you think it could be potential-wise?
We got a chance to cause some problems on the bases for people. I was thinking the other day, if Cal continues to improve and wins the job behind the plate, then there's a very good chance he will be our catcher opening day. He can run. Dylan can run. John runs at third. And of course up the middle, you hope your shortstop, second baseman can run. If they can't, you've got some issues. And then of course in the outfield, Deluzio's the fastest guy on the team. So we should be able to take an extra base without the worry of running ourselves out of an inning. We're going to be aggressive on the bases. We're going to try to put pressure on people, not so much stealing bases, because we hope that we'll swing the bat. But we want a catcher and a pitcher to be concerned if they throw a dirt ball and that catcher doesn't do a good job of blocking it and it gets away 2 steps from him, that our guy's going to react and be at second base. That is something that we haven't had with more than maybe 4 or 5, and I honestly feel that we can put 8 of 9 guys in our lineup that can take an extra base, that are base runners that the other team has to be concerned with.
Well, Levin, you've converted players from other positions to third baseman before. How has John handled that, and what are things how has he improved, I guess?
You know, I knew that John was a good athlete. I knew he was a solid infielder from the first day that we saw him in camp. He was a shortstop then. We turned him into a first baseman for a while, and then we ended up putting him at second to start his freshman year. I didn't know how he would do at third, but I promise you he looks very good down there. Not good, very good. And I'm a little surprised the way he has adjusted to playing third base.
With so much youth and you guys on this team, how difficult is it early on to kind of figure out who's going to play where, who's looking good, who's adjusting well to college baseball?
I think the next 3 weeks will go a long way toward deciding who's going to be given the opportunity to start the year. And of course, when you start the year for us, you don't exactly get evaluated in your first 20 at-bats. We give a guy plenty of at-bats to prove he can or he can't. I'm just hoping that the next 3 weeks that the competitiveness will be there, and I feel sure it will, from everybody to prove they can make a contribution to this club. We have guys that we may platoon. It's very important nowadays with the way the college game has gotten to the point that You got lefties coming in the 6th inning to try to shut down your left-handed hitters for a couple innings before you get to the closer. We've got some guys that we can throw in there for a so-called left-handed hitter. Now, we won't do much of that with switch hitters. We've got more switch hitters in this club that I can remember since I've been here. We could start 4 switch hitters.
Well, Mike Compton has been through so much to get to this point. Just how good is it to see him out there, and what kind of, how important is he to the team, just from experience, but also, his pitching?
Well, Michael is just one of those rare individuals. He didn't say a word to me about going to Italy or Switzerland or anywhere else. I didn't even know he had gone. He's a very intelligent young man, obviously. He's been our leading GPA guy for, 3 years, I believe. Mike brings so much to the table, so much experience. He's been through some problems. He's overcome that when he lost the whole year to Tommy John. A great leader, both on and off the field. It's great to have a guy like that leading the pitching staff and one of our captains. So you just don't have that type of guy year in and year out. You have leaders, but you don't have a Mike Compton year in and year out.
DJ was an emotional leader, and did you see anybody in the fall or so far kind of emerging into that kind of a role? Not necessarily emotional, but just charismatic.
Yeah. No, I can't say that I did, except that the younger guys have a way of sensing how John Sansone acts. How one of the guys that's been in our program for only 1 year, how they act. Basically, they'll look at a junior or a senior, and you've got Gage West and Ben DeLuzio as guys that participated a lot last year as juniors. But I think that the main people they'll look at will be guys like John Sansone.
What role do you foresee Cole playing, either starter coming out of the bullpen, and what will determine, what he does this season in terms of what his role is?
You're talking Cole Sands?
Yeah.
He'll be a starter. He'll be a guy that will get every opportunity to prove that he can pitch on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. If not, then a midweek starter. But that's where we're penciling him in right now. He's pitched very well thus far. Had a good fall. Continues to improve. Coach Bell has done a tremendous job with a staff that might be a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. Just watching them the last 3 weeks, seeing a lot of progress. We as coaches have to be careful about expecting too much of this club. This is a club that is going to be evolving. It's not going to be one that the fans are going to look at and, good gosh. It's going to be one that, hey, I see a lot of potential in this club. But like we always say, potential means you ain't done it yet. So we're looking at guys wanting to be the best they can be and willing to get out here and work. And it's been very impressive thus far to watch them approach what they want to.
Defense was one of the things you always talked about last season you guys were working on. So are you going to do anything differently leading up to this season to make sure where you are?
We need to play better defense this year than we did last year. No two ways about it. If the infield was starting tomorrow, I would say that I really like what I've seen. in those guys. We have range, we have skills. It's been one of the positive things for me as a coach to watch those guys work. And what's nice is we got some capable backups, because they can't think they're pretty doggone good without knowing there's somebody behind them.
It's a tough adjustment to college baseball for freshmen, and Cal's going to try and handle the pitching staff too. What do you kind of see from him as far as handling the guys? You know, kind of.
What a lot of people forget is that Buster Posey was not a catcher as a freshman. We've had freshman catchers before. One is in the big leagues right now as a coach, Pedro Grifol. He had fun cashing that check. I'm trying to think, when's the last freshman starter that we had? Does anybody know?
Tony Ritchie was the freshman
Tony
starter.
was a freshman starter. What was that, 90,
99.
99? So
2002 was his last year. Sir, 2009, 2000.
So it's been at least 15 years. Yeah. Yeah, Tony was very knowledgeable, competitive. He had it. This guy's got it. I'm anxious to see how he develops. It'll be a process, no doubt about it. I know that's used a lot these days, but gosh, it sure does apply in baseball when you play as many games as we do.
As far as the bullpen, have you figured out the back end, middle relief, closing?
I wish I could say I got a clue, but I don't. I know that we have had some guys pitch very well. We're planning on pitching in the middle and possibly as a setup. But as a closer, we have not made our mind up who will close yet. But they got some big shoes to fill. Strode was very valuable to us last year.
For you, a closer, it's as much about personality as it is what they do on the mound, right? Isn't it? You want to see a certain something out of them.
I want to see a guy that has a short memory. I want to see a guy that enjoys the opportunity to close it out. It's amazing what can happen in the ninth inning of a ball game. You could have a two-run lead with one out, and you say, I got 2 outs to get. No, you got a pitch to make. You can't look at, I got 2 outs. I got a pitch to make. So many guys sometimes will then give up a hard ground ball and somebody kicks it. Now, what's he saying to himself? Well, he's got to be saying, I got to get a ground ball so we can get out of here. Whereas some guys will say, doggone it, he should have caught that ball. The next guy walks. Well, you got a decision to make as a coach. You gonna go get somebody else.
How do you kind
It's
of
fun to watch that evolve.
how do you kind of look for that at practice, that kind of quality in a closer? What are things you do to kind of gauge their personality to see how they could do in that kind of situation without knowing it yet?
It's a great question. We have guys sitting over here yelling at them, calling them chokers. We have guys laughing when they throw the first pitch ball, and about 3 or 4 of them go, ball one. They're trying to get in there knocking. They're trying to see how mentally tough and mentally disciplined they are. Are they listening? Is that affecting them? Well, if they walk the next guy, we get it straight right then. You gotta go to the next hitter. You cannot allow anything to upset your concentration. Closing is middle relief. Look at what Dylan meant to our team last year. The way he came in and shut people down for 2. I mean, you come in just think about this. You come in with 2 outs in the 4th inning, and you go 2 1/3 innings, you're in the 7th inning, folks. You're in the 7th inning now, and that guy only got you 7 outs. But he puts you in a position to get back in the game if you were a couple of runs down. You got to have those guys. You can't tell your starters you got to have 7 innings every time he goes out there. It doesn't happen anymore. Doesn't happen anymore.
The transfers are guys that could compete for that role, right?
Yes. Yes. Tyler Warmoth, and Matt Kinney, both have pitched very well. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving somebody out.
Holton, I know he's a newcomer, but is he a guy that might do that, or would he be more of a
Tyler
starter?
Holton has pitched very well. Tyler Holton will be used as a starter
Okay.
right now. He's going to pitch it. He's going to pitch.
Collectively, what do you think you guys need to do between now and the start of the season to be ready?
I think we just got to keep the attitude of hard work, dedication, enthusiasm, things that are so important in our game of baseball. Not thinking that it's all about hitting, but understand that defense, as it is in football, basketball, is so important.